So, Logan, we've reached a new milestone with the bots.
Really? And what would that be, Robert?
People have been telling me that there's a secret boss at the end of the game. Do you know anything about this?
Ah, yes, it's that place that you never go, right? Like you end the game on Act 3 normally.
Yeah, I mean, where it tells me victory, question mark, and I say yes. I answer that question with yes, it is a victory. But apparently there are more things to fight and defeat afterwards. Um, and I hear it's called the Corrupt Heart.
Ah, yes, the Corrupted Heart. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to play against the Corrupted Heart yet with the bot.
That's actually for multiple reasons. One of them is that we haven't been picking up the keys. We need the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald key in order to reach the heart.
And why haven't we been able to pick up those keys?
So there's two aspects to it. One is just the picking up of the key, which when we come across the key, we can just pick it up. One of the other issues, though, is we weren't always able to hunt for one of the keys, and particularly the one that is attached to the Burning Elites. In fact, this guy right here. We were just missing the information from the CommunicationMod. However, luckily, a friend of the project has done some modifications there, and now we get the information about where on the map the Burning Elites can be found, and oh my goodness, look at that, we already have the Emerald key.
That is a great way to start the run if we want to get to that new Act 4 content that you keep telling me about.
Exactly. So the Emerald key is it's on the map somewhere, and it's attached to a more dangerous elite, more dangerous than the other elites at least. And the way we've made the bot go after that key is we've got a calculation for how beneficial each path is to go down. When you're in a specific map node, you can chart different paths, and we've told it basically like, hey, if you see the Burning Elite, that's a very rewarding path. You're going to get really good stuff from that. This does have the effect that we will just make a beeline for it in Act 1, Logan.
Yeah, so that means that right now we're not really aiming for win rate necessarily, because for most of you who consistently try to beat the heart, you'll know that Act 1 tends to be a very difficult place to get the Emerald key, and then especially if you're doing it on like an early elite. If maybe you're waiting till the end, that's okay, but trying it in the very beginning can be very challenging and is a very quick way to end a run. So this would be something that we need to optimize if we're trying to reach the heart consistently. But for now it totally works because we just want to see if we can do it. So
we've gone ahead and picked up the Ruby key as well. This is when you pick up from bonfires. The logic that we've taken here is that if you need to rest, then sure, go ahead and rest. So if you're under a specific health points threshold, then we'll just rest. Then there are a few upgrades that are considered very important, and in this case we've configured the eruption upgrade to be important because it's just very, very useful to have a one energy cost for going as a Wrath as Watcher. And if both these conditions are fulfilled, we have enough health and we don't have any important upgrades lying around, then we just go for the Ruby key straight up.
yeah, and again, this is something that generally doing in Act 1 is normally not the best, but luckily for us, Watcher is just super strong, and so we can get away with this suboptimal play. If we're going to be optimizing some of these things, one of the main things that we haven't really developed yet in the bot's logic is kind of like a knowledge on how strong it is. If you're playing this as a person, you generally will kind of have like a feeling on, hey, I'm doing really well right now, therefore I have the capacity to take on a Burning Elite, or I don't have that many cards that are valuable to upgrade now, I may later, because I'm ahead of the curve right now, I might as well take the Ruby key or take the blue key if it's offering a poor chest reward. But the bot doesn't really have a sense of that at all. We've only programmed it how to know like how well it's doing in any given battle. So this is one of the weaknesses of it, which is why we never really got into the keys before. Of course, with the pathing restriction that Robert mentioned earlier. But Watcher is good enough to not care about these things sometimes.
A solution for all this like little optimizations here and there is to just be really good.
Yes, exactly. If you always just can win with your base cards because your stance switching mechanics are so good, then you can always assume that you're strong enough to just be taking the keys right now.
I have to confess something now, Logan. I'm a bit of a fan of the apparitions.
Ah, yes. Apparitions do help a lot, especially right now because we're playing in early Ascensions. I think it's Ascension 14 where you start getting bad events. And there you only receive 3 apparitions, and there you kind of need to think about it. But here, when you get 5 whole apparitions, 5 turns of being able to stay in Wrath and still hit people, that is really, really good.
So, what we're doing here is we're opening all these chests and then passing by the blue key. Sapphire key. It's a valuable like gem thing. It's not just some random key lying around. And that's because we've got slightly different logic for picking up the blue key. That one is just wait until the last guaranteed chest, and then grab it at that point.
Wait, guaranteed chest, does that mean that it's like taking into account tiny chest?
No, because look, is tiny chest a guaranteed chest? Because for it to be guaranteed, you have to know how to count.
Ah, okay, yeah, we're not good at that.
I mean, the bot is, but yeah, basically it's hard-coded now to floor 43 or something.
Okay.
When we're there, we just grab the Sapphire key.
Gotcha, that makes sense. Yeah, I was trying to think, did we actually plan into, like, add into the bot's path planning that it knows that tiny chest equals an actual chest room there to be considered here? Because that's one of the main uses that I find for tiny chest is actually to, like, if you have tiny chest, say at 2 charges, you're at the chest halfway through Act 3, and you have 2 more events that you can get through, then you kind of can choose, do I want to get the blue key now and then be forced onto this path, or do I want to pick up the relic now and then be forced onto the path to be getting those 2 charges and still get another option for the blue key? Or do I take it now? It gives you kind of like that flexibility. But I would be very surprised if the bot already understood that without any more intervention from us.
What sort of relics would you pass up in favor of the Sapphire key? Because I did a quick look through it, and just to see if I wanted to hard code in something already. And the only one that like really jumped out at me was the ceramic fish, the one that gives you gold when you take a card. It's just not a large amount of gold.
Are we talking about for all characters, like always as a rule, or like how much flexibility can we put into this decision here?
What's the first one that comes to mind for you?
The first one to always be throwing
or
out?
The one you like, okay, just go away.
Jusu Bracelet.
Jusu Bracelet, okay.
Yeah, regular enemy combats are no longer encountered in question mark rooms. It has its purpose. It's not always awful, but for me it's probably like the lowest impact relic, and then especially if we're thinking about the way that the bot paths, it doesn't help or do anything at all, in my opinion. So I think that would be the first one that I would kick.
I really like that one though, because I'm a bit of an event fanatic. I love the events. I just love getting stuff for free and not having to fight for it.
Yes, but there's a problem with that. Hallway fights are really good. They give you money, and they give you cards, and they give you potions.
I think maybe I'm just a better person in that like I don't enjoy hurting things.
Okay, I'm not that evolved yet. Yeah, I'm looking through the relic list right now there's not that many that I would sign up to automatically not take. Like, of course, some things are very situational. For example, Dead Branch. Dead Branch is amazing, and depending on when you get it, it can totally be the defining thing in a run. I think more than any other relic, if I do get a rare relic on like floor 1 and I get a Dead Branch, then I get the feeling like, okay, I've won this run. I can work with this that early. But if you're like in Act 2 and you have a pretty slim deck and you have a Runic Pyramid or something, then Dead Branch is one of the ones that I would be the quickest to throw away for a blue key. But yeah, things like that, they're always very situational.
I think Dead Branch is also another one of the relics where I just make bad decisions because it's so strong, but I don't like that it messes with my deck. I've got a deck that is pursuing something it probably shouldn't be pursuing, but I'm enjoying pursuing it, and Dead Branch messes with that, or at least it theoretically messes with that.
True. Yeah, when you think about it more just as like a lot of card draw, that that starts to make it a bit happier.
I totally get it. It's so good, but it offends my my aesthetic sensibilities or something.
I see.
This one always makes me, oh, why are we not? Oh, okay, I see. You know.
Yeah, I always feel compelled when playing against the Transient here to still try and maximize the damage, even if I know that like it doesn't matter because I've already cleared the fight, or that it's not going to impact it. There still is some sort of compelling that happens.
Is it like a damage check?
I would like to think that it is, but no, it's probably something more to do with like
obsessive behavior,
pride, and just wanting to show that like I can do it. Or maybe it's just me not actually trusting my own math and being like, okay, that number says 0, but is it really going to be 0? I'm not sure. Let's keep hitting.
Also, it's like a little bit of also like mama didn't raise no quitter.
Exactly. Oh, the worst is when you have some sort of infinite, but it's a low damage infinite, like something with letter opener, like how we have here. You can get nice infinites with that and some skills for drawing, and so it's where like you're only doing a couple of damage per card play, and you're like, okay, I could kill the Transient. I don't have to. It's not going to accomplish anything more, but I could. Do I spend the next 10 minutes just flicking a couple of cards here and there to do slight damage onto it? Or do I just admit and let it walk away?
Did you like how we bought a lot of things at that shop? Like, I think we bought another Rushdown.
I was not watching the shop at all. I was too distraught looking at the tentacle monster here to be thinking about the shop, unfortunately. But Rushdown is really good. I'm glad that we tell Watcher to buy Rushdown.
That's also why we hold on to the extra 1,000, right? Like, what if we come to like a third shop and then there's another Rushdown there? Like,
that makes sense. And what if that Rushdown is like really, really expensive because the shopkeeper finally realizes how valuable Rushdown is?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should improve the shop logic here so that we're more quick to spend when we have this kind of money.
There's one that was a bit painful in there. There was a waffle waiting around for us. It was just sitting there.
Oh, that would have been good.
Waffles.
Yeah. In our recent tier list video that we did of the bot's capabilities, I think that we had the shop somewhere in like C tier, right? B or C tier, somewhere around there.
You want to downgrade it now?
After seeing our current gold count and this, yeah, I think we might need to. It works, but I think it works in the same way that picking up the red key, the ruby key, sorry, and the emerald key in Act 1 work. It only works because Watcher's that good.
Oh, don't worry. This is roughly the same shop logic we have for all the other characters too.
Oh, good. I'm sure that has nothing to do with their win rates. Oh, and we have Violet Lotus as well. I didn't see that was the relic that we picked up from the Act 2 boss. I think Lotus plus double rushdown is one of the best feelings when you're playing as a person, playing as a non-bot on Watcher, at least for me. It just enables so many different kinds of infinites and card draw and all that kind of stuff.
Is it time to double check how many cards we have in our deck?
Yeah. I mean, like, if we were playing, like you or I playing, 100%. For the bots, unfortunately, we never taught it to do an infinite, right? But, yeah, let's see. So we have 26 cards. 5 of them are apparitions. And I'm seeing a Talk to the Hand, a Tranquility. That's 7. We have 2 Rushdowns.
2 Talk to the Hands.
So that's 9. 2 Talk to the Hands. Okay, that means that we have 10 cards that can be removed from our deck, which would put us at 16, unless there's others that we haven't seen floating around as well. Oh, just looking at our powers there, it looks like we have 3 additional powers. It looked like we had 2 Mental Fortress buffs on us and Study as well, so that means 13.
Here, take some more powers.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, so that means that we should have 14 cards total right now, unless there's more that exhaust.
We've got a lot of card draw, if we need it.
Yeah, and we have positive energy. Not positive, we have equal energy with Violet Lotus, because normally, in order to have some sort of infinite, you need to have a 1-cost way into Wrath, so both our Eruption or Tantrum here work, but then you need something like our Fear No Evil as well, but because we have Violet Lotus, that means that we can also use Vigilance for any sort of infinite, and that means that we now have 2 ways out of, or 2 ways into Calm, 2 ways into Wrath, and we have 4 cards that we draw with our Rushdowns, so that means that you can actually have like a surplus more than 10 cards and still be able to maintain some kind of infinite. We also have a Crescendo, so that's another card that exhausts, so we have 13 cards.
So all in all, that's not necessarily all relevant because we haven't talked about infinites, right?
Yeah, I mean, the bot has no clue about infinites, so it's like why would it be trying to perform an infinite? But if it was able to do an infinite, it would be really close in this deck, like especially if you remove 1 card. We do have the problem that against the Heart, your hand size is effectively your hand size isn't too smaller. You have 2 dead cards that are thrown in that you can't get rid of unless you have exhaust. Because you have the burn and the wound. So it still might not quite be possible at this point. Like, that would be my thought if I was playing this, that I might just be out of infinite reach. But yeah, between the kunai, the 2 Talk to the Hands, the 2 Mental Fortresses, I would feel pretty solid here myself.
I think the bot feels pretty solid too. You don't...
I mean, it doesn't have a Blasphemy, and we know that Blasphemy is its favorite card.
It's my favorite card too. Well, when the bot's playing it, I don't like having it myself because then I have to like bust out my calculator.
Yes.
But I think the bot might also like all of the cards that have to do with infinites, because it doesn't necessarily need to know about infinites in order to execute an infinite.
Can you expound?
Yeah. So the infinite that we've been talking about here is the Rushdown infinite, where you are using Rushdown to pull back cards that you use to enter and exit stances. And you also are generating energy every time you exit Calm. And the bot has been taught we like drawing cards pretty... let me rephrase. We really like drawing cards, and so if it sees an option to draw more cards, for example by exiting Wrath and re-entering Wrath is going to do that. And then if it sees another option to exit Wrath and re-enter Wrath, it's going to do that as well. And if we happen to have all the cards lined up in order for that to be an infinite, then it's just going to keep going, I guess.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, of course, there are some complications that can come into play if it decides to just like use all of its energy to do a lot of damage or something like this. But yeah, that is a place where Watcher is different than, say, other infinites, because you have that energy generation aspect as well. So like if it's looking and saying, hey, I'll spend 2 energy to use a bigger attack right now, or I can play these other cards, draw cards, and have the same amount.
Don't buy anything.
Oh, it didn't buy anything. Okay, no, it's definitely D tier shop that we have. Definitely D tier.
Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, it's all good. Yeah, TLDR. That might work better on Watcher than I thought. But now we are up against a new enemy that we hadn't faced before. And I believe that you had to add in some of the features here, Robert, that to deal with this. Tell us about it.
I had to add a few things here. One of them is that the surrounded mechanic. So when you are facing one of the enemies, the enemy that's looking at your back will get an attack buff to it. It'll deal 50% more damage or so. And I put some effort into implementing this, and then later when we tested it in the game, we realized, oh wait, the character isn't actually turning around. So this is actually something slightly bugged here. We'll, at some point in the next turn or so, I assume we're going to be hitting the shield that's behind us. And you'll see, yeah, there you go, look.
Oh, there. Okay. So we just attacked the shield right now, and we're still facing Spire, which, for any of you who don't know about this secret hidden content, because like Robert, you like to end the game
it's
at
easier
Act 3,
that way.
Which is totally fine. It's fine. It's fun. I love it. Yeah, the way that this is supposed to work is that whenever you attack one of the monsters here, you then turn your character to face that, and then the other one is getting the attack buff. That's the little yellow arrow that's under the shield right now. And yeah, we're not turning when we attack. What's up?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm surprised, in fact, that this is even possible. But yeah, it's not actually. Spoiler, I've seen this run before. It doesn't really affect the outcome of this fight, and so I don't really think it invalidates the run in any way. It's just something that we'll need to look into a little bit more and see how something's going wrong there in the combination of Spire, ComMod, and bot.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it seems like something in the Spire here, normally you would attack and then it automatically does the turning, but perhaps the way that the code is set up, when the ComMod is interacting with it, it only does the attack but not the turn command. And there's not a way that we found to do the turn command yet. But none of that is relevant now because we are up against the boss, the Corrupted Heart. How are you feeling about this, Robert?
Well, you know, we have apparitions, and apparitions will... Oh, wait.
So can you say again how you're feeling about this? I also am seeing that we have a bit of a strategy problem, because we told it normally, like, disregard if you're taking 1 damage. That doesn't matter.
I'm not sure that's a strategy problem. I think we just had no way of avoiding that damage. Depending on the card draw that we get, like we have quite a bit of energy we can generate from Mental Fortress, or from the Talk to the Hands, or from the Wallop. If we don't draw those, it's fairly easy to take 20 damage in the first few turns there. And with
that is true. I'm just getting very nervous because as you're talking this whole time, we are on 1 HP.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yes, this is fine. I mean, we do have the fairy in the ball.
That lowers the stakes a little bit, doesn't it?
A little bit, maybe.
It'll give us a whole 10 extra HP or so. So here, also, again, we needed to teach the bot some new things. The heart has a few different features. One of them is that it's hard, but that's we've faced hard enemies before. More uniquely, it has the Beat of Death ability, so whenever you play a card, we take a damage. At higher ascension levels, and I think later in the fight also, this number increases. But right now it's a manageable 1. So every time we play a card, we take 1 damage. And the other, probably more interesting mechanic for the heart is that it has a ability called Invincible, where there's a maximum amount of damage you can take per turn. And we've just passed that threshold, so the number was counting down from 300 or so. And after that point, the heart can't take any more damage. And Logan, despite what you may see here, I guarantee you I have talked to the bot about the heart not taking any more damage here.
So why would it keep on playing? Is it trying to flex against the heart?
We can never rule that out, but there is actually...
I mean, we don't have Prismatic Shard here, so we don't have flex yet. That's an Ironclad card.
Yes, good point. There's is actually a benefit that we're getting here. It is not the block that we're building up, because we have no way of transferring that to the next turn. It is that we have a Shuriken and a Kunai, and so every 3 attacks we play, we get a little bit more powerful. And the bot sees that, hey, I get a little bit more powerful when I play a bunch of cards. Let's keep playing cards. And honestly, reasonable.
That makes me quite proud, because I also would feel the need to do this in this situation, especially with 1 HP left. Yes, Fairy in the bottle, but as you said, Fairy in the bottle won't give us much HP. To be like, let's just make sure that Dex is maxed out as much as possible. But, oh, there we go. It already has it.
Indeed it does. Let's bask in the moment for now. Logan, is this a special thing?
I believe that this is special. So this is actually the first victory that the bot got against the heart. In our trainings, we took the seed from this, the seed where it got its first victory, and that's the one that we just replayed. So you got to see the first victory of Bottle AI against the heart.
This is not just a milestone for us.
Yeah, so as far as we know, this is the first time that a bot has beat the heart with full autonomy and without cheating. And we wanted to share it all with you. So thank you very much for being with us on this journey over the last few years. We're quite thrilled to see that it finally has reached this point.
That's all from us for today. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time.